This video, we're looking at the big 11-game slate for Monday. So, a lot to talk about for this one. Hopefully, you guys had a good night yesterday. It was a good night on FanDuel, hit over 300. DraftKings fell a bit short, so hopefully tonight goes a little bit better on the DraftKings side. Let's get into it. As always, appreciate you guys to the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Also have NASCAR going on this afternoon. Posted a couple of picks I like on Twitter over there if you wanted to check that out. But let's go ahead and look at this NBA slate. Looking at the point guard options here, it starts all the way at the top with Russell Westbrook, Harden, Luka. You have three guys above 10-8. Out of the three, I would still lean to probably Harden given the matchup, and then I would go to Luka, then Westbrook. Westbrook is the most expensive. I mean, all these guys are pretty much equal. It's not big of a difference going from 10-9 to 11K. Westbrook's been playing better if Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal's not on the injury report. Maybe he's probable. Oh, Bradley Beal is questionable, so we'll see. It's the first game of the night. If he's out, then definitely play Westbrook. He would jump to be the favorite play with Kyrie coming back. But as of now, assuming Beal plays, for me it's Harden, then Doncic, then Westbrook. Luka got a couple of days off, missed the last couple games with a back injury, but he's not in the injury report. It's a great spot against Dallas. Dallas team is really banged up. No SGA. They're not going to be playing Al Horford anymore, so they're going with a lot of young guys that don't have a lot of experience, so their defense will be bad. It's been bad all season. We expect Luka to probably get a triple-double tonight and put up north of 60, closer to 70. Kyrie, great matchup, but 98, I probably just lean to getting to Harden if I had to. It's only $1,000 more, so it's not like not much of a price difference. I like De'Aaron Fox, no surprise. Been playing him pretty much all season. He's been absolutely on fire recently. Led them to a big comeback win against the Cavs with I think he had at least 17, maybe 19 points in the fourth quarter. Really, really good player. He's just super fun and exciting to watch. Plays absolutely monstrous minutes. Price tag is now getting up there, but you like him just because he gives you so much upside. Assuming Conley's back for this one, I don't really want to go to Mitchell, though he was amazing. Got to give him some credit. He was on fire last game. I like John Wall. He's $8,300. He only played 25, 26 minutes last game. He was on pace for north of 50 against Minnesota. Still can't buy a shot, really. A 5 of 14, 6 of 25 in that previous game. Still put up 47. And John Wall, if he has at least a bad shooting game, not like a horrendous shooting game, he's going to put up 50 on the dot regularly, 50, closer to 60 regularly. I got to go to him at this price tag. There is potentially no Christian Wood. He sat out last game. If he's out again, that just helps him in terms of more usage. But really, John Wall has just been playing big minutes in any sort of competitive game. He gets a ton of usage. He has a ball in his hands up and down the floor. I got to like him against this Grizzlies team that isn't the best defensively. They're middle of the pack. Expected to be a bit of a closer game, and hopefully John Wall can actually make some shots tonight. That would be nice. So John Wall, 8,300 is a first player that I'm going to go with. Other guys that look appealing in the low 7K range, you can definitely run it back with John Morant. He's only 75. He's been a bit inconsistent, but this is the sort of matchup you'd expect him to do well in. So 75 for Morant's a price tag I'm looking at. And then the Timberwolves, they got Beasley back. He played 29 minutes last game, so that's going to hurt for some of the role pieces. Still don't mind Edwards, but it's going to be a lot tougher for him with Beasley coming back and taking a lot of shots. I don't really want to play anybody on the Cavs. They're not going to have Jared Allen tonight, so potentially you could look to Larry Nance, but they already priced him up to 7K, and I don't want to target anybody from the Cavs against Utah, so I will probably just fade that game potentially. And then we have Lonzo is 7K, so he's not cheap. Even if he plays, he's missed a few games, so I'm not looking at him really closely. Brogdon is only 7,000. He's been fine. He's not been having ceiling performances with LeVert in there, but he's still been all right. 7K, the best matchup, one of the best spots you could ask for. Don't mind getting to him. And then 6K range, it's pretty much like Porter. Rubio has some lower owned plays you can look to. Halliburton looked fine at 61 if you wanted to save some money from Fox. And then the 5K range, I don't mind getting to Theo Maledon. He is 5,800. There's just going to be a lot of usage for him and a lot of minutes to go around. No SGA, potentially no Doherty's in the concussion protocol. I wonder if he's already been ruled out. Let's see. He's going to... I don't know. We'll see if he can pass protocols or not, but if he isn't played. Just a bit more minutes for Maladon. He's a guy that's has a ball in his hands. He's a playmaker. He's not been the best so far, but when he's given some opportunities, he's been fine. The matchup here against Dallas should be a bit of a mediocre or a middle of the pack kind of game in terms of total and pace. And don't mind going to Maladon at 58. It's not the best price tag, but just with all these guys out, there's going to be some guys that go off for the Thunder, and I don't mind taking a shot on Maladon. So far, I like John Wall. I like Maladon at point guard. In the low 5K range, there's nothing that I'm looking at closely. Maybe you can look to Tate on the Houston side if there is no Christian Wood tonight. And then there is no Kendrick Nunn, so if Dragic plays, but he might be limited, so I'm not really looking at him. It's also against the Knicks, who have been playing great defensively all season. Then the low 4K range, it's Ty Jerome, potentially will start tonight. You can maybe look to like Peyton, but now they have Derrick Rose back. They have Quickly, so the minutes are going to be not the most reliable for guys like Peyton and some of the other basically for Peyton and then for whoever backs him up. And that's it. I don't think you need to go to anybody in the 3K range unless we get some more guys out. At shooting guard, I like Paul George, decent price tag, 85. He's been playing a lot better. Zach LaVine, he's probable for tonight's game. I just love the spot for the Bulls. They're coming off of a pretty bad loss once again to the Spurs. Even after that big trade of Vucevic, it didn't really make a difference in that game. Expecting them to be a lot better tonight and definitely put up a lot more points. It's against the Warriors team that has been really bad defensively the last couple games. They gave up 141 points in regulation to Sacramento, and they gave up north of 120, I think 124 against the Hawks. So LaVine, a guy that hasn't been super consistent recently, but you like the fact that the shot attempts are there in close games. He's getting you at least mid-30s in minutes. He'll probably get you closer to like 36, 37, 38 if this game is really close. He's just nobody that I feel can slow him down on the Warriors side. So we'll definitely have Wiggins on him, who's a definitely above average defender, but I just like LaVine a lot. I love the matchup, and I love the price tag. His price tag has definitely come down to where it was. He was 96, 9,700 a few weeks ago, and now he's down to 84 in one of the best spots on the slate. So I definitely gotta like Zach LaVine. Other guys, like I mentioned, Paul George is a pivot in that range, 8,500. I'm not looking at Chris Middleton really or Van Fleet unless there is no Lowry again. We have Wiggins priced to 74, so he's not super affordable. And if Curry's back, then that just makes him not really playable. Beasley, worthy of a shot, 67, but it's always, early in the season when it was Beasley and they had Edwards healthy, it was kind of a guessing game. He did take 17 shots in his first game back, played 30 minutes, so that's encouraging. He's a guy that loves to shoot and can get hot from the floor. The matchup is pretty solid against Brooklyn. They play fast, they give up a lot of points. So I don't mind him at a mid 6K price tag. He probably looks better than Jordan Poole. Probably looks better than Fournier, potentially Drew Holiday, Sexton. So you potentially can look to Beasley. Then it's Halliburton. It's potentially Marcus Smart. Then the 5K range is Tyler Hero, 5,800 with no Kendrick Nunn. He should get some more minutes tonight. And then it's Quickly 5,200 off the bench. His minutes have really decreased, so still getting you like mid-20s. He's mainly a tournament option. I'm not going to be looking at him heavily, but if you wanted to get different on a 11-game slate, he's one way to go. And then it's potentially Ty Jerome, 4,800 bucks. You have some value here with like Svi. We get some extra minutes tonight. You have the Pistons playing a bunch of guys. They played like 13 guys the other day, so that's definitely not a team I want to target very many guys from. So that's pretty much it for the shooting guard position. Over at small forward, you definitely can get up to Luka Doncic. Butler's at a nice price tag, $9,000. Not really looking at Middleton. Not really looking at Jaylen Brown, 8,000. You can go to DeRozan. His matchup is great against Sacramento's price tag has come down all the way to 7,900 bucks. He's been super consistent all season. Big performances for him. He's been a bit down last few games, but the matchups have been somewhat tough. They'll blow out against Chicago, so he only played 32 minutes, and then Clippers tough defense, and then he was pretty solid against Charlotte. So I expect him to bounce back, potentially go back over 50 tonight against Sacramento. He's got to be in play. And then you have Brandon Ingram, who's been struggling last couple games. Price tag has decreased because of that. He's worthy of a shot. He always can get hot from the floor, so he's in play at 7,700. Then I'm not really looking at Barrett unless there is no Randall again, but I expect Randall to play. Not looking at Nance much, 7,000, even though probably will start at center. I just don't want to play anybody on the Cavs against the Jazz. And then you can look to Pokuševski, $5,400. Going to get a lot of minutes. We can look to, like, in the 4K range, maybe Kenrich Williams if he starts. Yeah, Patrick Williams. I like a lot of Bulls tonight, even though that usually doesn't work out, but it's one of those spots where they trade away some of their depth. So there is going to be some extra minutes for some of these guys, and Patrick Williams, with not having Porter backing him up, he probably will get you closer to 30 minutes. Like last game was an anomaly, he only played 19, but before that 32, 31, 34. If he gets you 30 plus minutes, he could be a solid value option at 4,500. And then you have Marcus Morris, 4,500 bucks. There's still no Serge Ibaka, so we will get a good amount of run again tonight. And that's mainly it at the position. Moving on to power forward. I definitely don't mind getting to Giannis. He's 10-7. He's super affordable. He looks better than Sabonis, Randall. Zion's been playing out of his mind recently. The matchup here against Boston, they've actually been pretty stout against like these types of players, but I expect Zion to be able to do his thing. He's been so aggressive and super efficient from the floor all season that I expect him to put up probably closer to 50. His price tag is at a point where you will definitely need closer to 50, like getting you 41, 42 is not going to cut it. So hopefully he continues to play well and gets you 50 plus if you do play him. And then Tatum is 86. He had a nice fourth quarter, which kind of helped him last game. We have Siakam at 78. He looks in play with or without Kyle Lowry. And then it's looking at the cheaper range. You have Draymond 69 if there is no Curry. We have Pokuševski 54. We have Roby 53. With no Horford anymore, it's going to be more minutes for guys like Roby, especially for Moses Brown, who we'll get to. And then it's looking at like Morris as a value play, $4,500. You also have Lauri Markkanen. He's only 5K. He's 5,000 bucks. Matchup is really nice against the Warriors for all these Bulls. They're all pretty underpriced just because they haven't been playing the best. Markkanen's not a guy that really played all season. This might be the first time I'm actually kind of recommending him. But I just expect the Bulls to be able to put up a lot of points in this one. Markkanen has been struggling. This is one of those spots where he can get hot from the floor. Still takes a lot of shots, still takes double-digit shots. The rebounds have been down, but his minutes are going to be up and down depending on how he's playing. But he's going to get you at least mid-20s, potentially low 30s, mid-30s if he's playing really well. Expect like close to 6x, if not 7, 8x. Probably closer to like 7x ceiling for him. He can even get you 40 if he's playing really well. Just like the matchup, and I like the price tag. At center, I'm looking at like potentially Vooch. He's $9,300. He wasn't the entire team was bad last game. He did play 32 minutes. He looked fine out there. It wasn't the best, but definitely can build off of that on this type of matchup. Zion looks great at 8,800 bucks if you wanted to go to him at the center position. And then you have Siakam as a value play. It's like a value 7K option, 78. Looking at Moses Brown, he's playing out of his mind. The great last game. He wasn't even popular last game at all. At 5,900, put up 50, expecting him to be a bit more popular tonight, but don't really care. He got 50 without having any defensive stats, without having, even one or two turnovers or one or two blocks or steals. At 2 turnovers, he's not a guy that gets assists, but he's a guy that's gonna get you a double double. You can basically pencil that in for him. Good spot against the Mavs. Like they play Porzingis at times at the center. They play guys like Kleber. They're not going to be able to stop him in the paint. So you should get a lot of offensive rebounds tonight once again. So he's a guy that I'm really looking at heavily. Other guys at the center position, you potentially can look to like Zubats. His price tag has kind of jumped up to 59. He's still been playing a lot better. Then we have like Roby. You have Boucher if there is no Lowry. Get some extra minutes tonight. And then the value option like Kelly Olynyk if there is no Christian Wood, he probably will start and play good minutes again tonight. And last but not least is Robert Williams, $6,700. Good spot against the Pelicans in terms of pace and in terms of being able to put up points against them. He is just a pretty fun player to roster. He gets you like about 26, 27 minutes. Both of those games ended up being blowouts. The Bucks ended up coming back a bit and making the game closer against them on the 26th, but that game was like well over double digits by the start of the fourth. So he lost a few minutes there, and then the game against OKC was also a bit of a blowout. He's a guy that can get you closer to 30 minutes. Not going to play like 35, 36, but against Steven Adams, who's been playing a lot of minutes, he definitely can play the same amount of minutes as him. He's a guy that will get you a lot of rebounds. He can get you some assists, and he's really known for his defense, blocks, and steals. He's gotten 4, 7 in the last couple games, and it's a spot against the Pelicans to potentially capitalize on that even more. So these are the 6 plays I like on DraftKings a lot. I mean, I gotta like Chicago tonight. I like OKC just because they're pretty shorthanded. And then John Wall just looks like a guy that, if he can make some shots, he's gonna put up 60 and nobody's gonna be shocked. So let's go ahead and look at FanDuel and see what we like over there. Over on FanDuel here, looking at the point guard options, it's Westbrook is up to 11K. He's been that pretty consistently last like a week or so. If there's no Beal, he looks a lot better. If there is Beal, I'm not going to be playing him. Luka is at a similar price tag, 10-8. If Beal plays, I like Luka more than Westbrook. I don't mind getting to Fox. I like him more than Kyrie. I like him more than like Drew Holiday. If Curry plays, he's only 9K, so he's most definitely in play. Hopefully, we get that news before lock because it might be tough to kind of pivot to him after lock if we don't get that news by like 9 or by like 8 o'clock at least. Then John Moran is really cheap at 7,100. He is a guy that a lot of people probably play tonight, and I don't blame them. Then you can look to Brogdon. He's only 6,500. Kyle Lowry plays, he's 6,500. So point guard is loaded with a lot of cheaper plays with a lot of upside. And then like Maladon is only 51. Also gives you some upside there. And then not really looking at Sato or White tonight or Peyton. So for me, I'll probably go ahead and play in John Wall again. 8,200. He's been playing a lot better recently, and I expect him to have a good shooting game pretty soon. He's not the best shooter, but he's super aggressive, and even if he makes 40% of his shots, he's gonna be really, really good for fantasy. Shooting guard, I'm not really looking at James Harden with the Kyrie back. You have Mitchell all the way up to 9K. He's more expensive than Beal, so I'm not looking at Mitchell unless there is no Conley. But this game kind of seems like it could blow out pretty easily, so could not even get full minutes out of Mitchell. DeRozan's at a nice price tag, 8,400. We have some guys in the 7K range, like Zach LaVine is down to 7,500. That price tag is way too cheap for LaVine. This type of matchup, he should not be cheaper than Anthony Edwards, should not be cheaper than LeVert, should not be cheaper than probably even like Paul George in this type of matchup. He's just too cheap. He's going to be a guy that I play. And if he has another bad shooting game, if he has another bad game, that's something I'll just have to live with. But I really think that price tag is just really at least $1,000 too cheap. And then in the other lower end at the position, it's like Smart is only 5,500, Halliburton is 5,500. You can look to some other value in the 4K range with Josh Jackson is only 4,200. You have Ty Jerome at 41, and he probably start tonight. And then McLemore's been seeing some fine minutes off the bench. He's been hot, but he's not a guy I want to play. Small forward, Kawhi is 96, Butler is 93. I probably lean to Butler over Kawhi, but I probably won't get to either one unless we get some more news on the slate. Barrett is up to 77. He's not a guy I'm going to be playing. I'd rather go to like Jaylen Brown. I'd rather get to Brandon Ingram. We have OG at a good price tag if there is no Kyle Lowry again. Then you have Buddy Hield now, small forward. You have Beasley at 56. So Beasley, he'll look like good 5K options. 4K range, you have Kenrich Williams, you have Bogdanovich. So you have some value here. The 5K range looks pretty solid for some value. I don't mind getting the Beasleys at the position where it's not super deep. 56 in one of the best spots you could ask for against Brooklyn. He's a guy that will shoot a bunch. He took 17 shots in his first game back. Only made 4 of them, and he's still fine for fantasy. So I'm expecting him to shoot a lot better maybe in this one. The matchup is definitely really good for that. Power forward options, it's obviously Giannis at the top at 11-1. Randall is 99, so even if he plays, I'm not really looking at him. I'd rather go to Zion. I'd rather go to Sabonis. And then you have Grant is probable, so not really looking at him at 6,900. So one of the cheaper price tag he's been all season, but he's just not been that. Now he's not been as consistent as he was at the start of the season, and they're playing a lot of guys on that team right now. We have Pokeveski at only 48 for a nice value option. We have a Lowry Markkinen at only $4,800. That price tag is too cheap for Markkinen against the Warriors. I mean, the Bulls are super cheap on FanDuel. Levine, Markkinen, you have some other guys that are cheap. I'm going to be getting to them. Like, if they put up 120 points tonight, it's going to be because of Levine. It's going to be because of Markkinen. Yeah, Morris, 4,500 bucks as another cheap play you can look to. But I just can't get away from Markkinen's price tag. And then center options, you have Cat at the top, 10,000 against Brooklyn. He should be able to dominate the paint here. He's definitely a great pay-up option. If Christian Wood is plays, he looked good at 7,700. And then Moses Brown, Robert Williams, we got two guys that have a lot of upside in the 6K range. Right now, just the way my lineups look, and I'll probably get to one of those guys. You have Turner as a value option if you wanted to go to him at 57. So and then you have Boucher if there's no Lowry. He's going to get some extra minutes. He's only 4,900. So center is pretty loaded. You have one pay up and you have a bunch of value options. So I'll probably take my shot with one of these value options and hope Moses Brown goes absolutely bonkers again against Dallas. That is it for the video. Already up to 21 minutes, so go ahead and cut it off there. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck. You can hit the like button if you guys enjoyed, and see you all next time.